Both shots! Woo! How about that one?
That's our new leaders right there.
Big Stewie!
University of Montevallo, 24-96.
The University of Montevallo wins its third straight title.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in for a new episode of the Rapala We Are Collegiate Bass Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Curry. Today, being joined by Harrison Heins and Hunter Slone from Tennessee Tech University. They got the victory over at Douglas Lake for the Bassmaster College Series event, the most recent tournament that happened here earlier this month. 2-day total, 32 pounds, 5 ounces. Harrison, first reactions here. It happened a couple weeks ago. Pretty fresh still to be able to talk about it and know that you won a major college tournament out there, earned some valuable points for your school, which we'll talk about later. Tell me real quick just the emotions and the feelings of being able to get a big victory out of that stage, one of the first ones for yourselves and your school.
Yeah, it's definitely my biggest victory so far in my fishing career, and we get to fish another big tournament, so it definitely gave us a confidence that we haven't had previously before, and really just itching to get back in those big tournaments and try to get another win.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to get out there and do it. I remember when I was in college, one of my first couple college tournaments I ever fished in, we did really well. We finished in the top 3, and you kind of get that itch, the bug, and you want to get back out there and keep getting after it, continue to capitalize on a little bit of momentum as we're getting started here in 2024, a long season ahead. Hunter, also you too, man, real quick, just the same reaction for yourself, as I know that you guys have been competing in college fishing for a little while. We've seen you out on our trail some as well here with the ACA and the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series. Big finish. Big benchmark for y'all as yourselves and the team. What's the significance of this victory mean to you?
Oh, this win really meant a lot, just in the fishing or, my career fishing and that. And, I put a lot of this tournament trust in the God. And, this win just puts a lot more faith in the God that I get to have in these regular other tournaments. So it's got a lot more meaning than me just fishing. So it's awesome to get this win, and definitely a turning point in our career, and hopefully we can just keep building off of it.
Let's talk real quick. We get people on periodically that are from schools near a lake where the tournament's about to take place, whether it's something on our trail or out on the others, or we're wrapping up and somebody did really well on their home water. You guys, Tennessee Tech, the tournament taking place at Douglas Lake in Tennessee. Harrison, was there anything that played into it for y'all of past knowledge on the fishery, being familiar with the area, or was this a style of fishing that maybe you'd never done before and were able to capitalize on the victory?
Yeah, so I'm from Fort Loudon, which is about 45 minutes west of Douglas. I've been there a handful of times, but I've never been there on a 35-foot low. So, but a lot of the patterns still play. The East Tennessee red trap and go cranking, and what we ended up winning it on was fishing boat dogs. So it's definitely something that we're very familiar with, and we're able to fish how we wanted to.
We'll get into the pattern here in just a little bit, but Hunter, I'll send you one question. As Harrison touched on it there real fast, the lake level's really low. What does that do going into a tournament where, does it make the playing field more even because there's stuff out of the water that maybe, people with a little bit of a home field advantage might have known about and now they can't fish it? Does it, what happens? What's your mental game as well as the execution out on the water when you go into a tournament knowing that a lake's extremely low like that was?
Yeah, so going into it, that was only the second time I've been on a lake. And like Harrison said, I've never been on a lake that low before. And going into the tournament, the first thing I noticed it with being low is actually the pressure that the lake was getting. With it being 35-foot low, it, minimizes the spots that you can actually fish in the lake. Like half the creeks that we fish, you couldn't even get to the back where it would normally be. So we'd only be getting halfway into these creeks and such. So with it being that low, it just makes the lake fish so much smaller. So just what our main thing going into the tournament when we've seen all the pressure was finding places that didn't have as much pressure. And that's ended up how we went in it, is finding a spot that didn't even have any pressure at all because the lake was so low.
All right, Harrison, kind of follow up on that question there, piggyback with the 100 just said. What areas did y'all settle on? Were you kind of fishing out in no man's land using your electronics to target bait and bass? Were you going down the shoreline for what cover was in the water to try and catch fish, kind of break down the area or areas that y'all targeted to catch the winning bass?
Yeah, so we found a marina about 2 minutes away from launch, and we actually found it day two of practice, I believe. And I mean, it is literally right on the other side of the ramp. I mean, probably 1-2 minutes. And we pulled in there towards the end of practice, and we wanted to get in the marina because, we both love fish marinas, and we weren't able to get in there. Our boat actually bottomed out, and it was close. I mean, it was inches, and we could get back in there. But, I mean, we both had looked at our app and noticed that the water was going to be going up about a foot each day heading into the tournament. And so we just pretty much threw our trap pattern and run the backs of creeks. We kind of just threw that out the way and said, hey, let's go start here on the boat docks. And we pretty much, once we went in there, on day one, we had our limit by about 9 o'clock, and that kind of gave us a direction of what to do for the rest of the tournament.
Now, once you're back in there targeting those fish in the marina, Hunter, tell us a little about what you were throwing at them, specific baits. Were you having to slow down based on the conditions? Were you getting to target bait fish, move fast, and cover water? Tell us what it was that y'all had tied on to go out there and get the bites.
So we caught most of our fish on a chatterbait and a couple on a spinnerbait, but we'd just be skipping that marina. And to be honest, we hit that marina, I don't know how many times in those 2 days. We would just go back and forth, just throwing the same thing. We never got any bit on anything else other than a chatterbait and a spinnerbait. And I believe what it was is those fish were just rebuilding on those docks and marinas. They were just reloading just constantly because it would just be like little flurries. About every 35 minutes, we'd go back through and catch another. So we just take those spinnerbaits and those chatterbaits, and there's a bar on the docks that we'd throw, and they're about 5 foot deep, and we'd bang the spinnerbait and the chatterbait off of it, and that's how we get those fish to react to it.
Harrison, real quick, mentally, when you're fishing something like that, you're in a confined area, 2 days, fishing the same spot, making the same cast, who knows how many times over the course of a tournament. How do you program yourself mentally to be able to continue to do that? I think I'm not a person that can, unless I know that there's a 10-pound, I can get a bite every hour and I'll win the tournament. I need like that. I need to know going into it that that's what's going to happen, not just sitting there hoping it's going to happen. How do you continue to tell yourself this is the right thing to do? We need to be doing this, and you do it for 2 days and it pays off like it did?
I guess we just figured, residential fish and marine are always there. And the way we caught them day one, we knew that the fish were there. They were just active in the morning. And after that 11, 10 o'clock window, we would just have to sit down and grind and not expect to get bites quite often. Another thing is we stayed at my house. It's probably the first big tournament we've ever, I've got to sleep in my own bed. And I got a shout out at my mother because she packed us both lunches. And that is very important when you're out there fishing for 8 hours, because you got to have the energy and the fuel for sure. And I feel like that's one thing we don't do a lot. We don't eat much, we're fishing all day. So staying hydrated and eating, especially when you're going to be fishing the same spot all day, it's definitely going to be a mental game.
For sure. Shout out to Mom or anybody out there packing food, sending food to be able to stay out on the water and do a good job. I know I was the same way from the time I ever started fishing. And you get out there and you're so locked in, you don't think about anything. And by the end of the day, you're like, man, I didn't eat, drink anything. It's funny how you get so locked in, and then once the day's done, everything kind of settles back down to normal. But yeah, having been out there, staying energized, keep your mind sharp, fresh, staying plugged in. I mean, that's what it takes. You never know when the winning bites are going to come. We're talking with Harrison Heins and Hunter Slone from Tennessee Tech University. Got the win, first place, 32 pounds, 5 ounces at the Bassmaster College Series event at Douglas Lake. Wrapping up talk here about the tournament itself. Hunter, real quick, as we were getting ready for the interview, you were telling me kind of a cool story about how the final day played out, maybe catching a big fish that contributed to the win there on the last cast. Tell us that story real fast.
Oh, yeah. So, like you said, I caught a 5-pound, 10-ounce bass, the biggest bass we caught on the 2 days on the last cast. And what's funny is we fished this marina for 2 days, and there's this one boat that we didn't know that, like in between it, that it was hollow, and we didn't know we could skip our bait all the way back up in there. And I noticed that on our last pass, and I skipped my chatterbait all the way up under this dock, and I made about 2 cranks, and that fish hit it, and I got it in about 2 minutes or whatever, how long the fight was, and we called out our tuna quarters, what our smallest was, and we put it in the live well, loaded up, and went to the ramp. So it was definitely an exciting few minutes right there, and that definitely carried to the weigh-in and stuff. So we was real excited. Didn't know we had the tournament won when I caught that fish, So it was definitely just exciting and a lot of adrenaline going for the rest of the day.
As it pertains to the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia, you guys are now ranked tied for 80th there with Tennessee Tech. The valuable points that y'all earned for that victory going a long ways to help y'all move up in the standings, get you heading in the right direction as the season's going to wind down here in just a couple of months. Harrison, as we're talking about the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia, first place victory. You know, we talked about what it meant to y'all and your careers being able to get a big win, but now let's talk about the team aspect of it and the importance of those points to get y'all kind of back in the conversation nationally amongst some of the best teams in college bass fishing. Got you heading in the right direction here. Valuable points. Let's talk about that, just kind of significance of that for the team.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping this win is a real rebuilder for us. Our team has slowly gotten smaller the last couple of years just based on timing and not having enough voters. So hoping to get Tennessee Tech's name out there with a win will help a lot. And, I mean, as everyone knows, School of the Year points are really hard to come by. Everybody's got to catch them. And especially with the competition nowadays, you look at the top three and you know, we got a long road to be in that conversation, but it is absolutely doable. You know, being here in Middle Tennessee with all the high-class anglers we have around us.
Hunter, same question for you. Just talk a little bit more, expand on what Harrison said there as it pertains to the team and what y'all are trying to accomplish this season. You know, what's the goal? Or is it to get in the top 25, maybe get inside the top 50? Tennessee Tech, a program that's been around a while but maybe not had a ton of success towards the very top part of collegiate bass fishing in the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Just kind of talk a little bit in general about the team, this victory, and for the season, you know, what you're trying to accomplish. Kind of tell us more about the club in the national rankings.
So, you know, it's really hard for us to actually compete to get to the top 25s because, like, at that tournament, we only had 2 boats. And, you know, when you have just 2 or 3 boats in a tournament going against the Montevelos and Carson Newmans that have 10 to 20 boats in every tournament, it's really hard to compete for those top places. So what we just really try to do is focus on the teams we do have and try to get them, you know, out there and to compete for the top spot in the tournament, you know, because like I said, it's really hard for us to get in the top 25 of the School of the Year or even the top 50, you know. So I guess really we're just really hoping this year for sure is to help rebuild for future years, you know, because like I said, we ain't going to be in the top 25 this year. Maybe next year if we get a lot of freshmen to come in and get a bunch of more boats on the water. So we're just really hoping to use this for the little momentum we got this year but really focus on next year that hopefully we can get maybe in the top 25, which hopefully ain't out of the question next year.
For the school-ran clubs like y'all are, I was a part of one myself at the University of Arkansas. It's interesting to watch throughout the years kind of the ebbs and flows. You know, you've got the teams at the top in collegiate bass fishing, and there's a few clubs mixed in there that's sustained year to year, but sometimes it does come in waves, as Harrison mentioned in his response a minute ago, and you hit these peaks and valleys, and it kind of comes and goes, and you got to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented with you. Harrison, talk a little bit about the makeup of the team right now, what y'all got going on, and also too, if anyone's interested in wanting to join the club, you know, more information about that as well.
Yeah, the best way to reach out would be through our Instagram, Tennessee Tech Bass Fishing, I believe it is. You can find it there, and we also have Facebook. Our makeup right now, we've got probably 4 boats. We've got the state championship, Governor's Cup next weekend, and we're sending every boat we've got, which will be all 4. And it's a pretty close group here for sure. You know, we hang out quite a bit, come over to the house, talk tackle, watch basketball. You know, we try to keep the club active and doing things that way and stuff. So, but yeah, 4 boats. You know, next year we've already made plans. We're trying to have 6 boats start out the year. So that's our goal for next year.
As this season continues, just a couple more events left here on the Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series. The first one's the Hartwell Slam in just a few weeks. Get over to collegiatebasschampionship.com to sign up before registration closes there on April 7th. And then the Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops is going to be at Pickwick Lake the end of May. That's one I want to ask you about here before we go on. Or you think of Tennessee, the Tennessee River, that's what Pickwick Lake is located on. Are you guys going to be in attendance? And if so, what is it that you're looking forward to kind of cap off the season for the ACA there at a fishery that might kind of set up well for strings that y'all are used to fishing back home?
Yeah, we're definitely going to swing for the win there for sure. I mean, it's the national championship. There's no point in getting second in it. So we're going to swing for the fences. Might go a big bait, something like that. I love the Tennessee River. I said I grew up on Loudon, so it does kind of set up like that. I've only been on Pickwick once. And then the Hartwell Slam is another thing. Hunter is planning on going that. I think I'm going to go as well. And because we got the Bassmaster there in August, so we'd like to get up there and get a little more practice on that lake. It is a lot of water, and figuring that place out can be a little difficult.
For sure. Now that we know that, Hunter, tell me real quick, man, before we go, what's something that you're looking forward to at the Hartwell Slam, whether it's a specific bait or style of fishing you're going to get to do, the fishery itself, the time of year that we're out there on the water is going to be a lot of fun as the fish are probably going to be spread out doing all kinds of different things. Just kind of tell me something you're looking forward to and excited about getting things rolling here in just a few weeks at Lake Hartwell.
Oh, yeah. So I'm really excited for Hartwell. I've always been a fan of Hartwell, even though I ain't done the best. Just because you can do so much, like you said. We can either – I don't know if there'll be a herring spawn in April that early. I don't know if it's a little bit in April. I guess it really depends on the weather. But I could either go out and throw that spook and catch those big spots, or what I'm planning on doing is going up the river and hopefully be able to skip a mag draft and some docks and hopefully catch some big largemouth. I think the largemouth are going to be a lot bigger of a player that time of year, which I've actually never been on Hartwell in April. So maybe the spots will be a big player, but I'm hoping those largemouth will be up shallow, maybe still some on bed. So that's what my plan is right now, but you never know what changes in practice. So,
guys, thanks for joining us today. That's our conversation with Harrison Heins and Hunter Slone from Tennessee Tech University. As we said, got the victory at Douglas Lake. First place, 32 pounds, 5 ounces for the Bassmaster College Series event that took place there earlier this month. Men, we'll hope to see you at the tournaments coming up. As y'all mentioned, you're going to be in attendance, so we'll see you there. Safe travels out on the road, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink.
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had. Yeah, throw me in a net BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding so much.
Hey, man, I'm trying to, man. If you
If you overfeed him, he's gonna hide under a log.